Hello, how
Hey
are
girl,
you
hey.
today?
I'm
Hey,
good.
thank
How are
you.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. So excited to be chatting with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to hear what you have to say and share with everyone. Please tell us your name, tell us about your business name, and what it is that you do.
Okay, well, Tiffany, thank you so much for having me and thinking of me for this series. My name is Briana Riddock. I am a chef out of Atlanta, and I throw private dinner parties. Um,
Yay.
I guess that would be like the part of my business model that a lot of people know right now. I originally started off as a blogger. So I would post pictures online and the recipes. So that's how my blog name is Seasoning Bottle. So Seasoning Bottle is my brand altogether. And my dinner party series is called Table of Influence.
Table of
So
influence.
yeah, it's I had the idea probably like 3 years ago, and I lived in New York at the time, and it it happened, but it didn't happen the way that like I had visualized it. Since I lived in Brooklyn and Bed-Stuy specifically, like I always had people at my house, like people were within walking distance. So I always had people at my house and I was always cooking. So I was like, this would be cool if I could have like a dinner party. Like everybody's hustling, bustling in New York, and like everybody was
Mhm.
always, doing something. So whoever was at my house was like a cool person doing something cool in their industry.
Mhm.
But when I came back to Atlanta, I was able to execute it the way that like I have visualized it. So essentially I do 4 courses, a 4-course meal. And I usually have a specialty cocktail. And a part of the meal, I explain everything. There's usually like a theme, if there's a theme for either season or a type of cuisine. And
Mhm.
then along with the dinner is a moderated conversation of a specific topic. So I have somebody that helps me host, and we go through a series of questions. We'll have like guests submit questions and kind of make it like a whole experience. Because essentially, people are with me for about like 3 to 4 hours. So
Wow.
we're
I bet
we're
that
we're
time flies
entertaining.
by.
It does. Like the last dinner I did was at 8, and then I think I started serving dessert at like 11:30. So when I looked up, I was like, "Oh wait, people are still here. They're like having a good time. Like you guys don't even need me
That is
anymore."
a
Like I
sign
was
of a
like, "We
good
just dropped these
time.
desserts off." So they were
Yes.
having a good time. I think by the time it hit midnight, everybody's like, "Oh dang, it's late. Maybe we should like come home." But it's been a great experience and a great ride, because every dinner I'm learning something new to be able to improve it after
Yeah.
each.
Yes. And that is such a huge lesson. And any venture that you're doing for your business, you just have to test things and it gets better
Yeah,
as you go along. You can't like wait for it to quote unquote be perfect in your mind, because 9 times out of 10, there are always going to be things that you discover as you actually experience something. And you won't know that until you actually try. So you can't let,
yeah,
you know, the idea of it's not perfect yet hold you back, because that comes with experience and just testing it out and
of
actually doing
course.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just had to try. Like the first one that I did, I didn't, I know people like knew that I cooked, but a lot of people haven't actually like tasted my food. 'Cause it's just like stuff that you see on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, I want to do this. I'm gonna have to sell tickets so I can like cover the cost of everything. But I was a little nervous when I did the first dinner, but I was like, I'm gonna try because I've had this vision and I'm just gonna try and see
Yes.
how it goes, and use the resources that I had at the time. And I definitely think like sometimes we get hung up in not having specific kind of resources or looking outwards for certain things, where if we just like kind of get a little bit creative and use certain
Mm-hmm.
things that are ready. So I had like a collection of dishes. Some of them kind of matched, some of them kind of mismatched, and I had like lots of mason jars. And I ended up going to IKEA. They had some really like nice affordable things, so I kind of just moshed together like stuff that I already had and bought some affordable things.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of put together the aesthetic of the dinners. But
I
to go
love
back to
that.
my original point, what you were saying is like I just tried. Like I didn't have all the stuff that I really wanted. Like if I wanted like some crate and barrel bowls and
You're
stuff
right.
like that. But I was like, no, I need to wait until I get to
You're gonna
that,
get there.
be able to get more of the nicer things. But I started where I was at for sure.
Yes, yes. And that's so great that you did that and you took that leap of faith when you had that vision. So I want to know a little bit more about, you said you had a vision about it. How did that process work for you? Did it come to you like in a dream? Were you brainstorming? Were you actively seeking an idea to take your business to the next level? How did that vision come about for you?
It's probably like a combination of things of it, like just coming to me and me pulling together the things that I enjoy about cooking, which is cooking for my friends and, just talking about life and strategizing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a group of girls that I'm really close with, and we're always in a group chat, and just like having those people around, I always wanted to like make sure I could create an environment that I'm comfortable in, and be able to create that environment for my food as well. So I think it was like a mixture of things, like me desiring a place where I felt like I fit in. I've done a lot of
Mm-hmm.
different things in the culinary world, but I just felt like I never fit in. I felt like nobody gave me like a real chance, or I felt like I
Mm-hmm.
was like trying things and like it just wasn't working. And it just, I don't know what it was, and it almost made me look as if like my life is all over the place and I don't know what I'm doing, but I was really just trying to find a place where I fit in. So I was like,
Right.
I was writing for a little bit, I worked in like bakeries for a little bit, and like I worked in a restaurant, and I did all these things, but I just never, I waited tables, like I've done like touched on different things in the industry, but I couldn't find a space where I felt like I fit. And I was like, maybe I don't, maybe I don't fit, and maybe like cooking professionally was not like the smartest path for me
Mm-hmm.
to go on. And I really questioned it a lot. So it was just a combination of things that made me happy and comfortable when I was cooking. I love cooking for my friends. And I think that was like the premise of it, and being able to, I think like I'm in the middle of like a home cook and a professional chef, because there's some stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I love, comfort foods. So like a lot of my dinners will always have rice, and actually a lot of restaurants don't, yeah,
Um,
like tend to serve rice, but like
right.
I love rice. I grew up on like rice and gravy and rice and chicken. And
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to like share my cooking with my friends and people of my peers, and with people that I wanted to meet, and people that like I admired that were like the same age as me.
Right.
Or doing things where I'm like, oh dang, I never thought about that. Can you help me improve what I'm doing? So it was really a combination of like cooking for the people that were important to me, but also building a network of people around me that would come to the dinners, and like growing my network as well.
I love that. I love that. It takes a lot of courage, I think, to put yourself out there and try something new and also recognize like, hey, I'm not fitting into these spaces, which I can totally relate to.
Yeah.
And just saying, you know what, I'm just going to make my own space instead of giving up. I think that that is so great that you're trying something new and it's working for you. Um, how did you get so passionate about cooking? Is this something that you were passionate about from a young age, or is it something you tried as an adult or in school and you were like, hey, this is my thing? How did that happen? I know you said you grew up on specific foods, which same foods for me. A lot of,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for me, I've always loved cooking. So I don't know if it was just like a natural gift that I have, and I was always drawn to cooking. So maybe I was like some kind of chef in like a past life.
Yeah.
But I was always drawn to it. So I can't necessarily say like I was like cooking in the kitchen like with my grandmother. I have like all these like old stories of like cooking with other people, because it really was essentially me. But my mom did cook every day. So I
Hmm.
think just her consistency of like always providing us with food, like because I know a lot of people's parents didn't necessarily cook. Like my mom actually cooked dinner as soon as she got home. She would start dinner. She's Jamaican, so we had like a lot of traditional Jamaican dishes. But that was probably it as far as like the scope of things that she did. But I was fortunate enough to always have like kitchen supplies and stuff around me. And at the time when Food Network was like really in its prime, like I was obsessed. So I feel like I'm a visual learner. So I was able to like pick up on a lot of things at a young age. Just techniques that I saw and didn't necessarily know was like a professional technique, or just how
Right.
to, different flavors and stuff that I probably would not have been exposed to if I hadn't seen it on TV. But it was never like a career goal or a career path. The only thing that I could say that I always really wanted was to have a cooking show, because that's what I saw. So I was like, oh, chefs have cooking shows. Like that's like their thing. So I know I always
Yes.
wanted something like that, but it was never a upfront pursuit. I was like into like media and like reporting and journalism. But when I got out of school, I couldn't find a job, honestly, and that's kind of
Yeah.
where it ended up shifting. Like, I couldn't find a job within the field that I studied and I had known, um, practicing since high school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I ended up starting my blog, and it kind of just started from there. Again, I still was like searching for a job and like looking for a space that I fit in. So after that, like, I mean, I just started trying to figure it out. I went to culinary school for a little bit, and then I like moved to New York. So I just started picking up different jobs. But I didn't have a plan, and I
Right.
I need to stress that I didn't have a plan. And like, I wish I had a plan, but I didn't even know that this was going to, like, that I was going to end up cooking. So, sometimes,
Yeah.
there's a calling on your life that you have that you can't plan for. Like, all the experience that I've had, I didn't plan them at all. I just knew that, okay, maybe I should try this. I really just been trying things to
Right.
see how they work. And luckily, not everybody can do that. Like, my personality, I've been able to like be uncomfortable for a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm just so used to that uncomfort. It doesn't frighten me,
Right.
to be able to try and do things, just because I have been just kind of like blindfoldly just trying things within the cooking world, because there really wasn't a blueprint, and I didn't really know anybody else that was like pursuing the same level of culinary experience that I was.
Yes. And I feel like that's spoken like a true entrepreneur because
Girl,
really
girl.
you have to try things. And I'm the opposite as you. I would say that I've been forced into discomfort. I'm very much like, I want to be comfortable here and have a plan and blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah,
this whole journey, like you said, I feel like I've had a calling on my life, and God has been leading me to try different things. And it definitely was not something that I necessarily would have planned on my own. Like, I'm just going to
right.
go out here and see what happens. Like, that's totally
Yeah,
not my personality at all. But through this journey, I haven't had a choice. I have a choice, but I just have had this like nagging feeling of, you need to go do this, you need to go try that out, just because I knew that I was supposed to be doing something
hmm,
bigger than what I was doing, but I didn't know what that was, and I didn't know
yeah,
what that path looked like, and I didn't really have anyone to ask, like, hey, when you started your business, I didn't really know anyone who was
right.
doing anything even remotely close to what I was doing. In fact, people were like, you're selling your house, you're quitting your job, you're moving where? And I was like, I don't know. And so
Yeah.
I was like,
But
I
now you
don't
got a
know.
story and a
Yeah.
testimony, because
Yeah.
it's scary, and a lot of people wish, and like, man, I wish I could do this and that. I mean, but I don't know. Sometimes you just like, if it's really in your heart, and like if it's something that you just can't let go of, I don't see why it's not worth the try. Like,
Right.
it's like a disservice to your spirit and your soul to not try.
Exactly. And someone asked me, they're like, would you ever go back to where you were before? And I was like, no, because you just said, my spirit was so uncomfortable in terms of
Yeah.
knowing that that's not where I was supposed to be. Like, I don't ever want to. I'm sure there'll be times in my life where, you'll have that feeling again. It's time for you to move to something. But I was like, I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel at peace, and I want to do whatever I need to do to make sure that I have that peace in my spirit. And,
Yeah.
a lot of time we spend so much time at work. It's so important to be doing something that you're passionate about or you feel like is your purpose. So
I agree.
yeah. Tell me a little bit about like what culinary school was like. Did you enjoy it? Did you see anyone like you in school?
Yeah, so I have a half and half story about culinary school. So originally when I went to school, I was working at a car dealership and I was selling cars. So
You really
again,
have done it all.
I've done just all sorts of things. And I was like, all right, I was researching so many schools and they were so expensive, and I knew I already had undergrad student loan debt. So I knew that I didn't want to, if I had to take out loans, I didn't want to have to take out a lot of loans. So I happened to find a school in Atlanta called Gwinnett Tech, and it's a technical college and it's in-state. So I was able to take advantage of having in-state tuition instead of going to a traditional like culinary school that's normally private. I was able to take, advantage of federal loans. So that was a whole thought process in of itself. Just doing that. So I was in school for a semester. I loved it. I thought it was great. But I ended up, while I was trying to figure things out, I had ended up applying to culinary school and grad school. So I got into a grad school program. So I actually ended up leaving culinary school to do a grad school program. So I was like, okay, I see how culinary school was. I don't know if I'm going to get back into grad school again if I apply again. And I know I can get back into culinary school if I need to. So I ended up leaving. But ever since I left, I was like, I had a great time. Like, I really felt like I was growing as the chef that I was wanting to be. And when that was like something on my heart, I was like, dang, I really wish I would have finished. Things came full circle and I ended up moving back to Atlanta, and I was like, let me go back and take these classes. So I've been taking classes for about a year now, but this second half of the experience hasn't been as pleasant as the first half. Like, the program wasn't the same. I had like conflict with some of the teachers that were there, and it was just like a really strange feeling. So I was like, I wanted to come back to school, and I really, figured out a way and kind of put some of my life on hold and like trying to be in school again. Like, at this point, like I'm like, okay, I'm a professional student. Like, this is like, I need to like find a way to make an income or still do something instead of like continually to be in school. But being in school allowed me to start my dinner party business, and I was lucky enough to like get certain things that you can only get as a student, like healthcare and like certain stuff like that. And I was like, all right, well, I've had some really great benefits to being in culinary school. And there's a lot of it's like a conversation in the culinary world as far as like if culinary school is necessary or not necessary, because of the first thing that I said about how am I going to pay for it. But because I went to technical school, I think that Gwinnett Tech was an excellent choice for me to take on, and even still to go back, because now I'll be like, okay, well, I have like this master's degree, I have this culinary degree, even though these days nobody cares about degrees or this, that, and the next. But if somebody wants to come check me, I'm like, look, I got the credentials. I know what I'm talking. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm getting to the space where it's like I've been kind of timid and like meek about like my cooking because it wasn't my first choice as my journey. So now I'm like, I had to even like convince myself that like I know what I'm doing, even though this is like a plan B plan. But maybe like I was like, okay, I need to change my mindset, because this is the plan that I'm supposed to be on. This is the journey that I'm supposed to be on. And once I started believing in myself and like changing my mindset, that's like, again, the same time when I started to do the dinners. And I'm like, you know what? I know that I know what I know, but let me get these credentials, just to have them. I was so close. And then started doing the dinner parties at the same time. So being in school kind of gave me that time that you get for being a student. But I mean, I wouldn't have been able to have this opportunity if it wasn't for my family also supporting me at the same time. And a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So I got very lucky and very blessed to even be like, oh, I'm gonna go back to school, because who has time to go back and get have three degrees when you when there's already all these other bills piling up or all these other things like going on that I know I need to do as an adult.
Right. But you felt
But
passionate enough about it to try.
yeah, I believed in myself. I believed in myself, and I mean, I still was like questioning whether I should have done it or not. But I don't want to look back at my life and be like, oh, I wish I did it. You know,
Right.
I can say that up to now I've done everything that I thought that I wanted to do, or at least wanted to try. So now I'm like, cool, let me make some new goals. Like,
Right.
let me do some more things. But if something happened to me today, I could really feel like, all right, I did. I mean, I haven't accomplished all of my goals, but I've at least tried to do a lot of the things that I've been wanting to do.
Right. Right. It sounds like you have a lot of patience with your journey.
Oh, I've had to have patience because I'm just like, now I'm like, okay, where's my check? Where's my money? I feel like
Right.
I'm putting the work. Like, now I'm ready to manifest everything. But yes, I have been patient, but that doesn't mean that I haven't been frustrated and I
Right.
haven't been sad and I haven't looked at my friends like, dang, why didn't I just like go to law school? I spent as much money as a, going to go
Yeah.
into all these other programs and like, dang, why didn't I like be an accountant or like something where I know that I could like go get a job. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I just had to accept myself as me and
Mhm.
really be authentically myself, and I don't know what other way that would have been except for exactly what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely. I love that. Tell me a little bit about how you have worked on like self-awareness. Like, is that something that has come naturally to you? How did you get to the point where you said, maybe this is my journey. I need to start believing in myself? Like, I know you said you had support from family and friends, but I also know that no matter how much support you get, it has to be your choice to change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you develop those tools, or what resources did you use to kind of help you change your mindset, and like just in general as a person, like how do you develop that skill?
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, I've read lots of books, like lots of self-help books.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like when you do research, like when you're doing a research for a paper, you start off, you don't really know much, but then you start reading books and you start seeing stuff, and then you start seeing the same information. So, all right, if I'm starting to see the same things, that something, this has to be true, or this has to be a fact, or this has to be that. So I started reading lots of like self-help and spiritual books. And I think one of the first ones that stuck out to me where I felt like it really changed me was The Alchemist.
Oh my God. Oh
Um,
my God, me too. Yes, that was the first one
yes.
I read on my
And then
journey, and
that
I
was
was
the
like,
first, yeah, and that was the first one that I read. And like, he went on a journey, but he was like, now I'm about to get this treasure
right.
and I'm going to get everything I went on. But he had to go through this crazy,
Yes, it was
crazy,
terrible.
crazy journey.
And it was
Yeah.
right when he was, well, I don't want to tell the whole book. Y'all need to read the book, but he went
Read
on
the
this
book, but
crazy journey. Yes.
it helped me put things in perspective a little bit, even by this like fictional book where it's like, all right, he still didn't give up to find something that he believed in, essentially is what the book is saying.
Yeah.
But I've read like some other spiritual books, and they helped me identify things in myself that I know I needed to improve on. So one thing is like, I've always been like pretty quiet, like pretty even keel, pretty chill. And then I think I saw something where it's like, sometimes when you have these characteristics, you're afraid of like expressing yourself or like expressing your voice and like having a voice. And I was like, I do feel like I haven't had a voice, and like I need to work on like what my voice is, like who I am, what is my perspective, because I was trying to again fit into a box and figure out like what everybody else is doing. I was like, no,
Right.
like this is my personal voice. Like, what is that voice? Even if it's me physically speaking, or if it's my point of view on how I look at food and the type of cuisines that I want to study. What else did I do? I've spent a lot of time by myself,
Yes,
thinking,
girl. Mm-hmm.
and it's just, you have to like yourself too. Like, a lot of people have a hard time like accepting like who they are.
Right.
And I think, just as simple things as like, all right, let me wake up, wash my hair, make sure like I feel like a little bit, a little put together or something for the day. But just like enjoying like being, some people can't be by themselves or like spend time alone. They'll have to like always be around other people. I feel like I function better when I have like time to think. Even like practicing of like meditation or just walking in outside or taking in some sun, drawing or painting. I'm not great at any of those activities, but I do them. They help me just like, since I feel like I'm visual, like, visualize certain things that I feel like I see. I think, and just having the desire to want to improve yourself.
Right.
And I think that's kind of like was the thing that quenched my thirst on wanting to like read more books and just like figure out like what my pitfalls were as like a person, and just talking to people, I'm honest. I've come to a place where I can be vulnerable with people, and just, when I'm honest, I feel like people are honest with me back.
Right.
And I like to keep it that way. It keeps things clear. It keeps things, understandable. And especially like now as an entrepreneur, you work with a lot of different people.
Right.
So me knowing myself and how I operate is helping me to deal, because everybody, you're not going to be friends with everybody. You're not going to be able to work well with everybody, but you have to be able to do your best and be able to, when it comes down to business, there's so many different types of personalities that you work with every day. And, I just try my best to bring my best self forward so I can also help whoever I'm working with to like make sure they see that in me, and that's what they're also giving me in return.
Yes. Snap. Y'all probably can't hear the snaps, but
Snap.
There we go. No, it's so true. Like everything you said, I 100% resonate with. It's just been, and I think like going back to what you said about how when you're reading about self-development, like you start to see these similarities, like this consistent kind of storyline of a lot of times what other people have gone through. And I know isolation is a really big one. Spending time with yourself, really learning yourself. And that is exactly like what my journey has been like too. And at first it was hard because it was like, dang, I'm all alone. But it also, was such like, had so many revelations during that time, so many like learnings about myself. And like you said, like I've always enjoyed time alone. This was like next level time alone, but that was so necessary in my personal development, and also, who I wanted to be as not only a woman, but also a business owner. You have to have that time by yourself, in my opinion, to really know that without distractions, because it's very easy for other people to kind of tell you what you should be doing, who you should be talking to, what you should be thinking, and all of these things. And when you have that time alone, you're forced to figure it out. You're forced to really sit with yourself and say, well, what do I really want? What do I think? Like listen to your gut. And because sometimes our mind tells us we want one thing, but our gut is like, girl, are you sure? I don't think that's right.
Exactly. And I don't second guess my intuition.
Not anymore.
These days, not anymore. If I feel some kind of way, I'm out. Or if I feel some kind of way about a person, I am not doing business with them. Or if I don't second guess it, I don't go against it. It is with me. It's guiding me in the right direction. So I am always listening to my intuition.
Yes, I had to learn that lesson the hard way. I typically listened to my intuition, but there are some times where I did not. 2 specific times, major times that I did not. And I was like, never again will I second guess my gut, because I ended up just feeling terrible after, because I was like, I knew it and I didn't listen to myself, And so same thing, I think it's so important to, you don't always, I think the thing for me is that you're not always going to have an explanation of why you feel how you feel. You're not always going to have
you don't
proof.
Need an explanation. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody but yourself. As long as you feel comfortable with whatever the decision is that you made, then that's all that matters, honestly.
Absolutely. And it's like, I don't know why I feel this way. This is just how I feel, and I gotta
Yeah,
go.
yeah, and that's it.
And it's usually revealed
I don't need
later.
an explanation.
Yep. Tell me, what has been your biggest challenge on your journey, in terms of, just pursuing your dream and not giving up? What do you feel has been the biggest challenge?
My biggest, I guess one of two things. My biggest challenge is time management. And because again, when you're by yourself, there's nobody checking you and saying, oh, did you do that? Or did you send that email? Or did you follow up with that person? Like, you
Right.
really have to, I guess it's twofold, like time management, self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I struggled being a blogger towards like these last few years, because I can't say that I've been blogging consistently. But then I also need to take notes on why do I not feel motivated to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, maybe again, like blogging may have been for me in the space and time that I did it, but maybe it's not for me now.
Mm-hmm.
So time management and consistency and self-confidence, believing in myself, and not feeling down if like I don't have enough money to go take this trip with my friends, or
Mm-hmm.
if I know I just need to stay in the house that weekend, or I know that I have a dinner party coming up, so I need to be using the week before wisely, planning and shopping and doing all the things that I need to do ahead of time. So I think to answer that would definitely be self-discipline, time management, and like self-confidence, and just believing in myself, and doing the work, executing. Like, we can talk about all the spirituality and being grounded and reading all these books, but at the end of the day, you need to do the work. Like, you have to execute.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people leave that out. Like, all right, cool, I'm developing my habits, I'm managing my time, I'm doing this, but am I executing the actual tasks that I need to do? I have my to-do list, but am I doing the things on my to-do list? Am I executing? Am I getting things done? And that's where I'm at right now. I'm just like trying to get stuff done.
Right. It's like, take those tasks, make it less overwhelming by what are the tasks that are going to have the biggest impact, and get those done, and break them down into smaller tasks. I always say, like, if you feel overwhelmed by something big, break it down into smaller tasks. But like, however you have to get it done, you got to get it done.
Yeah, and that's been the biggest thing for me. I guess like procrastination kind of ties along with time management and discipline. It's feeling overwhelmed. Comes like, I have so much to do, and I have so much to do of things that I don't know how to do. So I have to spend that time learning and figuring things out. So that has always helped me, where when I do start to feel overwhelmed, I literally tell myself, okay, how can I break this down in the smallest manageable, even if it's just me doing something for 30 minutes and I did it, and that's all that I can do for the day. Like, how that's still more progress than I did by not doing it for that 30 minutes. Like, how can I make things like not overwhelming for myself? And like, when you actually start getting started on stuff, you actually, end up doing.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this isn't so terrible. I'm here. Let me just finish it. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't even that bad. This literally took me a minute and 30 seconds to write, and I've been dreading sending this email all morning. Why?
Yeah.
Like, it took me 30 seconds. Like, what am I tripping about? So just stuff like that, like just overcoming like mental blocks. And I think that I've had that for a long time, but just even like just pushing myself, just like, let me just write the subject line. Like something, even if it's that small, I'm like, let me just write the subject line, let me put their email address in, and then I end up writing the whole email.
Yes, because you're like, well, I'm here now.
Yeah.
Like, I might as well finish it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. It's so, so true. Such great tips on how to move forward. You really have to push yourself at the end of the day.
You have to push yourself. You really have to. I feel like I have to push myself a lot. But when I do, I always feel good about it. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I tried, and like I'm glad I actually like did that. For example, like one thing that I've always struggled with was like being in large crowds, or like, you know, doing small talk with people I don't know, or like starting a conversation. And it's the craziest thing. People think I'm so outgoing, and I'm just like, where? Because
same. I'm like, I'm really not. Yeah.
I'm just like, in my head, like I don't know how I look on the outside, but I'm panicking
Right.
on the inside. Like I just don't know how I come across to people. But even like stuff like that, where I'm like, I went to this conference the other day, and I was like, okay, if I talk to one person today, I will feel okay. You know,
Yeah,
with
see,
myself, as
setting those
opposed to
small
like
goals.
not talking to anybody, or just like not feeling overwhelmed by like being in big spaces. So like stuff like that is like how I try and do like small things and give myself small goals instead of like beating myself up. It's just like, why?
Right.
Like, after a certain point, it's just like, do you love yourself enough, you know, not to do that to yourself?
Absolutely.
And like, if you were talking to a friend, would you beat your friend up for not, you know, not being able to talk to like 10 people out? Like some people's personalities are like that, and they can do that, but I am not like that. And that goes with me spending the time to understand how I operate and how I do things and how I can adjust to the rest of society.
Right. Everyone's different.
I
It's like,
in the world.
right. Yes.
The world as I see it.
Yes. Otherwise, you'll be miserable. Yes. Other you will be.
I'll be mad. I'll be miserable. Like, no, that is not. I'm trying to be cheerful. I'm trying to be peaceful. I'm trying to be joyful. And I just, when you try and do stuff the way that other people do it, it's not for you. Like, I do stuff that are for me and that work for me.
Absolutely. And it takes time, I think, to be comfortable with that, because there are, you know, quote unquote standards that we see all the time and all types of, you know, categories, from beauty to how you should run your business and all types of things. And it's like, okay, those things are great and they may work for a lot of people, but maybe that doesn't work for me, you know, and being okay with that. It's like, that doesn't mean anything's wrong. It's just, I'm doing something different. As long as you're getting the results that you want, that you're looking for, then it's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
seriously.
I love that.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah. So tell everyone where they can find you, if they want to follow you on social media, all of that online. Where are you?
So I am at Seasoning Bottle. That's one word. So Seasoning Bottle, and that's across the board. So that's on Instagram, Twitter. My Facebook page is facebook.com/Seasoning Bottle. My dinner party series is called Table of Influence. So that's also, it's just an Instagram account. But there you can like see how the dinners look. You can see what people were there. Because now I'm starting to get people like, oh, you know, so-and-so. Oh, this person was there. So like you can see what the food looks like and kind of get like the idea of what the experience is. But you really won't know until you go to one. Right. That's what I feel like has been the feedback from a lot of people. Like, oh, I didn't really know what to expect, even though I saw the pictures. But like, it was such a great event. And you know, when people got a little lick in them going, you know, they're comfortable.
Yeah.
They start talking.
I am one of those people. Yeah.
Oh, dang, she's telling all her business, but it's like,
oh no, really not that much, but I definitely am more talkative.
No, people start to open up, and it's just a nice time, and it's just like a grown and like sexy kind of vibe, and like, you know, real just like chill. And I think it's I think my dinners represent me. Like, I think they really are like a representation of me as a person. I have flowers. I love flowers. I'm a flowers person. So I have flowers everywhere. So that's Table of Influence. Again, I am Seasoning Bottle. I have a brunch series. So I threw like this really impromptu brunch the other day, and it just turned into this like lituation. Like, it was so lit.
Atlanta will do that. Yeah.
I'm like, you know, I'm gonna do like a little brunch series coming up. My friend is training to be a wine expert, so we have something called Wine with Whitney. So I got events I got series. So I'm just trying to tie together everything and make this like
Yes.
an umbrella brand under seasoning bottle. So yeah, I'm excited. My events have been going really great. You know, the dinner party is a flagship event, but people love brunch. So I'm about to give people what they want. We're going to do brunch. We're going to do wine tastings. And, you know, like other people are starting to want to collaborate with me. So definitely like more events on the way.
And we cannot wait to see all of them unfold. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey with us.
Having me, and
of
thank you
course.
for thinking of me.
Of course. Happy to chat with you always.
See ya.